What if I told you there is a powerful military alliance with over 30 countries built to protect peace, prevent war, and respond to global threats together? Welcome to the world of NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Whether you're a history buff, military enthusiast, or just curious about how world powers work together to keep global peace, this episode will break it all down. We'll explore what NATO is and how it came to be, who's part of NATO and what their military forces look like, the structure of enlisted and officer ranks, and how NATO nations have fought together or not in real wars. Buckle up, let's dive into the world's most powerful military alliance. NATO, short for the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, is an intergovernmental military alliance founded in 1949. After the devastation of World War II, Western nations realized that the best way to prevent future wars was collective defense. That means if one of us is attacked, we all respond. The alliance started with 12 countries. Today, NATO includes 32 member nations from North America and Europe. NATO's headquarters, Brussels, Belgium. The treaty's famous Article 5, it's the Collective Defense Clause. If a member is attacked, it's considered an attack on all. Fun fact, Article 5 has only been invoked once in response to the 9/11 attacks on the U.S. As of 2025, NATO has 32 member nations. Let's list them quickly. United States, Canada, United Kingdom, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, Netherlands, Belgium, Portugal, Denmark, Norway, Iceland, Luxembourg, Greece, Turkey, Poland, Czech Republic, Hungary, Slovakia, Bulgaria, Romania, Slovenia, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Croatia, Montenegro, North Macedonia, Albania, Finland, Sweden. These nations come from different cultures, histories, and military traditions, but they all share a commitment to mutual defense. Each NATO member contributes to the alliance's collective defense, but they maintain their own independent militaries. There is no standing NATO army. Instead, forces from each country are coordinated under NATO command during joint missions or exercises. Let's take a peek at the types of military branches you'll commonly find across NATO countries. Number 1. Army, ground forces, handles land-based combat, infantry, armor, artilleries, engineers. This is your boots on the ground force. Number 2. Navy, focuses on maritime defense, securing sea lanes, and projecting power via aircraft carriers, submarines, and surface vessels. Number 3. Air Force, controls the skies with fighter jets, bombers, surveillance aircraft, and drones. Number 4. Marines, not present in every country, but where they exist, Marines are elite amphibious assault troops used for rapid response missions. Number 5. Special Forces. Think of these as the elite units, SEALs, SAS, GROM, GTF-2, handling counterterrorism, reconnaissance, and unconventional warfare. Number 6. Space and cyber units. Some countries like the US, France, and UK have dedicated cyber commands or space defense branches. Military ranks vary by country, but NATO has standardized them into codes to help countries work together. These are called NATO rank codes, like OR1 to OR9 for enlisted ranks, and OF1 to OF10 for officers. Let's break it down with US examples, then compare a few allies. Enlisted OR ranks. OR1, Private US, Soldat, Germany, Fusilier, France. OR5, Sergeant US, Unterofficer, Germany, Sergeant, France. OR9, Sergeant Major, US, Hauptfeldwebel, Germany, Adjutant Chief, France. Officers, OF ranks. OF1, Second Lieutenant. OF3, Captain, U.S., Hauptmann, German, Kapitän, France. OF5, Lieutenant Colonel. OF9, General. OF10, Supreme Commander rank, rare. NATO standardization means a German Oberstleutnant and a U.S. Lieutenant Colonel are both OF5. Now, let's address the big question. Has NATO actually gone to war? Yes and no. NATO as an alliance didn't fight in World War II. It was founded after. But since 1949, NATO forces have participated in a number of combat operations and peacekeeping missions. Here are key ones. Bosnia, 1990. During the Yugoslav Wars, NATO intervened in Bosnia and Herzegovina to stop ethnic cleansing and enforce peace. Operation Deliberate Force in 1995 involved heavy airstrikes. Kosovo, 1999. NATO launched a 78-day air campaign to halt human rights abuse in Kosovo. This was a major combat operation led by U.S. and allied jets. Afghanistan, 2001 to 2021. After 9/11, NATO invoked Article 5 for the first time. The alliance launched ISAF, the International Security Assistance Force, to fight the Taliban and train Afghan forces. Troops from over 40 countries participated. Libya, 2011. Under UN mandate, NATO enforced a no-fly zone over Libya to protect civilians during the civil war. Operation Unified Protector led to the collapse of Gaddafi's regime. Ongoing peacekeeping. From the Baltic air policing mission to deployments in Iraq and the Mediterranean, NATO continues to carry out stabilization missions. But here's the thing, each country decides whether to commit troops. NATO doesn't force participation. Today, NATO operates an increasingly complex world. Let's break down how it functions. Political leadership. NATO decisions are made by consensus. Each country has a representative in the North Atlantic Council, led by the Secretary General, currently Jens Stoltenberg. Military command. The Supreme Allied Commander, Europe, SACEUR, leads NATO's military operations. This position is always held by a U.S. general. Funding. Each nation funds its own military, but is expected to spend at least 2% of its GDP on defense. Only about 11 countries currently meet that goal. NATO's Response Force, NRF. This is NATO's high readiness unit, troops on standby who can deploy quickly in a crisis. Cyber defense. NATO recognizes cyberspace as a domain of operation, alongside land, air, sea, and space. Partnerships. NATO works with dozens of non-member nations through its Partnership for Peace. Countries like Sweden, before joining, Ukraine, and Australia have worked alongside NATO in operations. NATO isn't without its critics. Some argue the alliance is outdated, built for the Cold War, not modern terrorism or cyber threats. Others question the fairness of defense spending. The U.S. contributes the most, over 70% of NATO's military power, while some European members lag behind in funding. Tensions also rise when individual member nations have conflicting interests, like Turkey's relationship with Russia or Hungary's domestic policies. But one thing is clear: NATO remains a cornerstone of Western security. Looking ahead, NATO's mission is evolving. With the war in Ukraine, NATO has beefed up its eastern flank, deploying more troops to Poland, the Baltics, and Romania. New members like Finland and Sweden bring cutting-edge capabilities and strategic locations. And NATO's eye is on the future, integrating AI, space defense, drone swarms, and cyber warfare to its operations. Will NATO last another 75 years? If the world keeps changing, this alliance might be more relevant than ever. So, what did we learn? NATO is more than just a treaty. It's a living alliance, built on cooperation, mutual defense, and the idea that peace is stronger when we stand together. From its origins in post-World War II Europe to modern cyber warfare and peacekeeping, NATO is a complex and essential part of global security. If you've enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and turn on the notification bell to stay up to date with our latest posts.